Welcome to the Swing Trading with Cycles channel. We're gonna do an update on the Dixie today. And again, if you didn't watch the natural gas video, I'm back. It was an extremely busy last 2 months, but there are some really pivotal trades setting up, notably the dollar, and that's probably gonna set up a lot of other things as well, given its importance. Now remember, flashback, we topped out in the 3-year cycle in September. We've talked about this in many past videos. That was important to know. We've been declining into the 3-year cycle low ever since, in the same way that this was a decline into a 3-year. And even forget about the 3-year part. Just think of it as a long-term cycle or like a big pattern. This was a big move up. Now this is the commensurate move down before another move up. We don't know if it's going to be big or not. But the point is, this is now month 30 of that cycle. So what does that tell you? If it's a 3-year cycle, it'll be around 36 months. This happened to be exactly 35 months. This was longer at 45. This was exactly 36. This was 38. They are going to vary, but this tells you that we're probably getting into the later part of it, which means we would expect a waterfall decline before some kind of rebound. So that is an incredibly positive signal, like to short, I should say. And then, of course, there's going to be an opportunity to play the advancing phase of the next 3-year cycle. Maybe that happens in early 2024 or later, or late 2023. So just structurally also, this is important. That's what this line is. You can see we've broken down below this cluster of lows, right? We have this waterfall. So we have the top in September, pull back. That's what this wick is, a pullback in a lower time frame. And we'll look at the daily chart to understand where we are. It's important to know tactically. And then we consolidated for the next month, for the month of October 2022. And then boom, a big move down, and then continuation. And when I say a big move down, I mean we make a lower low below this low here. And then the next candle makes a lower low below this one. And then next candle makes a lower low below this one, right? That's what a downtrend is, making lower lows. And then for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, we kind of just chopped around here. And we actually held a little low here. And it looked like, oh, is it going to do something? Now we've broken below that low. That low was 100.788 to be clear. And you can see there's still a lot of candle left. This is your July candle. This is your current July candle, but it's only the middle of the month. It's July 15th. But man, I mean, look at this 10-period moving average, how this is just sinking. So this tells you, like, look at the other sort of latter parts of long-term cycle decline. So like, look at this one. This is a nice example. So we had this little bounce this for 2 months. So you see this candle sets a little low, and then we get a bounce, and then we get a flush lower for 3 more months, right? This is a similar kind of thing where we get a little bit of a bounce, and then we get a flush lower, right? Like that, which is just the way a downtrend plays out, right? Like this is a little bit of a bounce, and then a flush lower into that low. So we got the little bounce consolidation-ish part, and now we're moving into the flush lower. Now, if you look at the 6-month chart, it's actually very clear on that. So every candle here is 6 months. This is a nice consolidated chart because it's very similar to a yearly chart, obviously, but a little bit more detail because we obviously have just completed the first 6-month candle of this year, and you can see it's a big doji, right? And so now this candle is setting up. It just started, obviously. This is the first month of this 6-month candle, but this candle is setting up for like a nice flush lower. And where does it look like it wants to go, just logically? This right here, right? Like this candle is the last 6 months of 2022. And so that's kind of holding up this whole rally. So if you think about it big picture, you had this big move up for this 6-month candle. Then this 6-month candle had a big move up. Always important to remember, as we talk about on this channel, think about how candles transform over their lifespan. This 6-month candle at one point was big, bright green, something like this. And then it had a monstrous pullback. That's because we topped out, that September top out that we talked about, the 3-year cycle high. And then look at how it closed. I mean, what an ominous looking candle. The thing is, we didn't get the flush lower the following candle because we got a little rebound. We ended up with a doji. And so it's entirely possible that we're going to get a waterfall decline that's going to last the rest of this quarter, and it's going to at least make a low below here, which is 94.629. That would be my expectation. Now, it doesn't mean we'll close there. Maybe we end up with some wick action, but that's what this seems to be suggesting, which is going to be a harbinger, or I should say is going to be a catalyst for a lot of other trades. If we look on the weekly chart, one of the last videos I posted about the dollar, we had this top here on week 5 of the weekly cycle rally, which is pretty ominous because that's an early top. And then we had this precipitous decline, but then we had this that looked like a double bottom in real time, and it was. We then had this little rally, so it's like, oh wait, was this some kind of like weird weekly cycle that was like really short? It turns out hindsight tells you, obviously hindsight tells you everything, in that it appears we're still in the weekly cycle, which is to say this just concluded. This was just week 23, where we closed as a big lower low below this low here that had held this whole thing up, this consolidation. And so the previous weekly cycle was 35 weeks. We have ones that are usually in the, we have several weekly cycles that were in the mid 30s. And so it wouldn't be surprising if we continue to decline here, you know, for another, you know, call it 10 weeks. Now let's look at the daily chart, because I think that's even the most actionable. Where are we in the daily cycle? So we had a really long daily cycle early in the year that was 51 days. And then it looks like this daily cycle was actually 49. So we're now having really long daily cycles. And that's the thing, trying to nail down, oh, well, this is going to be exactly this many days or this. I don't think that's a smart move. Follow the price action more than anything. You're looking for swing lows and swing highs. And so speaking of swing lows, or swing highs, I should say, after this important low here and this like little rally, the rally has topped out on day 10. That's not a good sign. This rally lasted 33 days. This one is a very different character. And we've now started, like you can see the waterfall decline on the daily chart. I mean, look at these. Each candle making a significantly lower low than the last. But then we are trying to bounce as of Friday. So this recording is happening on a Saturday. So this was your Friday candle. This is exactly the setup for a little swing low, something like that. Like if you saw if the Monday candle did something like that, that would make this a swing low. We just need the candle to close above 100 spot 015. That would make Friday a swing low on day 16. But this is so incredibly bearish on all the other time frames that you would expect this to be a shortable bounce. I wouldn't say you just short the bounce. I'd say you short the reversal that tells you we're about to make a lower low after the bounce. But we're on day 16. It could be that we're going to start a little bearish daily cycle and move up here, or this is just a little bounce into a lower low to complete like the cycle itself. Given that we're on week 23, we have to be mindful that this next daily cycle could also be a weekly cycle low as well. So a lot of cross currents, but the overwhelming evidence is incredibly bearish because it doesn't seem like, because we're basically in the later stages of the long-term cycle decline. And so we would expect things to accelerate, make a sort of dramatic low. And if you think about the weekly chart, going back to that, very logical. Like think about how we've broken below. This was a weekly cycle low that we've now broken below. We closed below it. So we closed below this one. Where is the next weekly cycle low that we haven't broken yet? It's all the way down here, and it's not a coincidence. That's the 94.629 that would give you your lower low on the 6-month chart. It's all the same price action. You're just looking at it from different vantage points. So again, that's my expectation. Very high probability trade. And again, this correlates inversely with metals, for instance, potentially crypto. Doesn't mean it has to go in that direction, but this is just another piece of context. I think you always want to look at every chart on its own merits, to be sure. And I'll do a separate video about gold. Looking great in terms of its 8-year cycle, etc. So that is the update on the Dixie. Thanks for watching.